Good afternoon. So I'd like to welcome our distinguished members of the Advisory Board and the Pitt-Bradford Alumni Association Board, colleagues from the University of Pittsburgh campus, distinguished guests from J.B. Dick and PCF Architects, members of the Pitt-Bradford and Pitt-Titusville campus, our friends and our supporters. Welcome to the dedication of the Livingston Alexander House, our new residence hall. It gives me great pleasure to be a part of today's events as Pitt-Bradford is dedicating yet another beautiful facility on this magnificent campus. Most importantly, we are here today to honor Dr. Alexander for his leadership, vision, and commitment that has helped shape Pitt-Bradford to be the special place that it is today. Now at this time, I would like to introduce our platform guests. I would ask that you please stand and we hold our applause until all members are introduced. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Mark Nordenberg, Chancellor Emeritus and Chair of the Institute of Politics of the University of Pittsburgh. Welcome, Mark. Next is Dr. Livingston Alexander, who needs no introduction, President of Pitt-Bradford. Also, I'd like to introduce Dr. Patricia Beeson, Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor, University of Pittsburgh. Behind me is Craig Hartberg, Pitt-Bradford alumnus and former chair of the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board. The Honorable Dr. Martin Causer, another Pitt-Bradford alumnus and a member of the State House of Representatives. I have Nathan Lawyer, a recent graduate of Pitt-Bradford and the past president of the Student Government Association. Owens Cook, Facility Management, University of Pittsburgh. Kenar Grigsby, Facilities Management, University of Pittsburgh. David Brown, Facilities Management, University of Pittsburgh. Ken Lee, MCF Architects. Chris Pager, MCF Architects. William Hartle, PJ Dick. Adam Mayer, PJ Dick. Anna Lepsinger, incoming Vice President, Faculty Senate. And lastly, Eric Austin, University of Pittsburgh alumnus and President of the Staff Association. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge our good friend Evelyn, the wife of Dr. Alexander. Evelyn, will you please stand? Friends, thank you for joining us today to honor Dr. Alexander and to celebrate an important event in the life of Pitt-Bradford. The Livingston Alexander House is Pitt-Bradford's first LEED certified building. It is a freshman-only residence housing 172 students. This $17 million Silver LEED certified building is unlike any of our other residence halls at Pitt-Bradford because it is designed especially with first-year students in mind. As many of you are aware, the majority of the residence hall here on campus are composed of suites. The Livingston Alexander House features individual double rooms, quiet rooms, shared common areas, and 2 fitness areas. Each floor has a men's and women's restroom with private showers and changing cubicles, as well as a gender non-specific restroom. As you later tour the facility, you will see that the layout is designed to help our students adjust to college, make new friends, and become a part of their own community. On behalf of the Advisory Board, I would like to thank Dr. Alexander for his leadership and commitment to Pitt-Bradford. As our 3rd president, you are leaving this university in a better place, and for that we are grateful. Now at this time, I would like to welcome Dr. Patricia Beeson, Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, for her remarks.
Hello. In a minute, I'm going to turn to the University of Pittsburgh's Board of Trustees resolution citing Livingston Alexander's many accomplishments and those accomplishments that led them to feel that he was so exceptional that they wanted to memorialize what he had done for the university by naming this residence hall after him. But before I turn to that resolution, I did want to note that as important as what he achieved is how he achieved it. He's respected and beloved by his students, faculty, staff, and community, and his colleagues. One telling example of that is the number of people who are here with us this afternoon, including Chancellor Emeritus Nordenberg, who I have the pleasure of driving up with earlier today. And during that drive, we both enjoyed sharing some memories of past trips that we took up here to Bradford and the wonderful friends that we had made up here. And most importantly, we had a lot of wonderful reminiscence of Livingston and all that he's contributed, not just to the Bradford campus, but to the University of Pittsburgh more broadly. Knowing this and knowing all that Livingston has done over the past years that he's been here for the Bradford and the Bradford community, it's not surprising that the advisory board chairs came to visit me in my office last summer, or even before that, last winter, because they wanted to do something very special for Livingston to recognize all that he had done. And so it was on the recommendation of the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board that the University of Pittsburgh's trustees passed a resolution that would name this residence hall after Livingston. So I'm going to bore you for a few minutes, but hopefully not too boring, to read to you from the board resolution that they passed unanimously on September 27th, 2017. Whereas Livingston Alexander earned his bachelor's degree in philosophy from St. Joseph Seminary College and his master's and doctoral degrees from the University of Houston before he embarked in a career in academics. That included positions at Western Kentucky University, at Georgia Southern University, Troy State University, and at Keene University. And whereas on April 24th, 2003, following a national search, Livingston Alexander was named the third president of the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford. And on May 7th, 2012, following an administrative realignment, Dr. Alexander assumed the presidency of University of Pittsburgh at Titusville. And whereas under his leadership, the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford has seen remarkable growth, including the development of 16 new academic majors, the successful completion of a capital campaign that raised $33 million, and an increase in its endowment and foundation assets of more than 250%. And whereas his focused strategic vision guided the Bradford campus as it increased its enrollments and retention of students, and steered the campus through a physical transformation that included the construction of 5 new residence halls, major renovations of academic buildings, upgrades to the athletic and recreational facilities, and the acquisition of a major facility in downtown Bradford that is now the home of the Marilyn Horne Museum and Exhibit Center. And whereas Dr. Alexander led efforts to successfully secure 2 TRIO grants funded by the U.S. Department of Education for programs that assisted first-generation and historically underrepresented students as they advanced their education. And whereas under his leadership has led to the increase in national visibility and recognition for Bradford campus, including being named as one of the 10 best regional campuses in the United States by the College Research Web, the bestcolleges.org, and being named the Princeton Review as one of the best colleges in the Northeast for 14 consecutive years, and being recognized by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best baccalaureate colleges in the North. And in 2013 was recognized by President Obama as one of the 13 institutions excelling at enrolling and graduating low-income students. And whereas, in recognition of Livingston Alexander's 15 years of exceptional service to the university, members of the advisory board of the University of Pittsburgh at Bradford have requested that the new residence hall located at the Bradford campus be named in his honor, and the administration of the university endorsed such action. Be it resolved that the Institutional Advancement Committee of the Board of Trustees hereby recommends that the Board of Trustees approve and name the Livingston Alexander House at the University of Pittsburgh, Bradford. As I said at the beginning, while everything that he's accomplished is so incredible and has really advanced the university both here at Bradford and more broadly, it's the way that Livingston has led us all throughout these years, the wonderful spirit that he's brought to the campus, and the things that he's done for the students, faculty, staff, and community. And so we're here today to officially recognize the opening of the new hall, but as Janine said, we're also here to recognize the contributions of Livingston as he steps down and retires from the university. And it's our tradition at the university when someone retires to give them a chair. I'm not quite sure why a chair, maybe so that they can read books in more leisure. So it's my honor to, on behalf of the university, congratulate Livingston on his retirement as well as his wonderful years of service to the university and present him with the chair.
Thank you, Patty, for your comments, and also thank you for your strong support of our campus over the years. We really appreciate it. As the former chair of the Pitt Advisory Board, Craig Hartberg has worked many years in partnership with Dr. Alexander. I would now like to invite Craig to the podium to share his thoughts with us.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. I think the first day Livingston set foot on campus, it was snowing, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll send them off with a beautiful day. And it's so good to see so many friends and supporters, faculty and staff of the University of Pittsburgh. We appreciate on this beautiful Friday afternoon that you all came out to pay tribute to Livingston. Now, we gather today to honor a man who's become a significant individual on the Pitt-Bradford campus. Now, Livingston will tell you he's just a part of a wonderful team that's worked together to create what we enjoy. And that, of course, is a true statement. However, if not for the leadership and drive Livingston has demonstrated, the team would not have been able to achieve these great successes. The past 15 years, Pitt-Bradford has had the opportunity to have Livingston serve as our president. He has been remarkable in leading this institution to new levels of accomplishment and acknowledgement. Due to his steady and committed leadership, we enjoy the Pitt-Bradford we see now. During Livingston's tenure, I've had the opportunity to serve on the advisory board and work alongside him as he changed Pitt-Bradford. During 12 of these years, I had the unique opportunity to have access to Livingston on a regular basis, serving as chair of the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board. What I learned during this period was how astute, adept, and comfortable Livingston was in this leadership role. His ability to forge a vision and relate that vision to various constituencies on this campus was remarkable. Livingston's ability to solicit buy-in to several strategic plans developed by his administration has led to tremendous success for our campus. This success has earned Pitt-Bradford and Livingston many well-deserved accolades and recognition. Throughout the years Livingston has led this campus, one thing has become very clear. His commitment to the student experience and success is his #1 priority. This goal has been achieved through Livingston's constant work with faculty and staff to achieve the best outcome for our students. How appropriate it is for this new dorm that will house our incoming freshman students to be forever named Livingston Alexander House. Livingston, thank you for being a great leader and inspiration for Pitt-Bradford. Thank you for being the conduit between the Bradford community and Pitt-Bradford. Congratulations, Livingston, on this well-deserved honor. Your name will live on forever at Pitt-Bradford.
Thank you, Craig. And now I'm pleased to welcome to the podium our distinguished state representative, the Honorable Martin Causer.
Thank you very much, Janine. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you, and really an honor to join with all of you for this very important ceremony. And what a fitting ceremony to dedicate this wonderful building in Livingston's honor, and you know, the leadership that he's displayed on this campus and all that he's done for the campus, the leadership, the dedication, it's just tremendous. Now, I've had the opportunity to work very closely with Livingston through his entire tenure here at the university. In fact, as you heard previously, Livingston started in 2003, and I was sworn in 2003. So we often joke that we had the same amount of seniority, although I have about 4 months on him. So, but we've had a chance to work very closely together. And in fact, even to this day, there are offices in the state capitol that when I walk into, they say, what can we do for Pitt-Bradford today? And that's a good thing. And that's because that's a testament to Livingston's leadership. So today, I'm very glad to be here, to join with all of you to recognize that leadership, that dedication, that commitment, and how fitting it is that we're dedicating this building that creates just the finest housing anywhere for our students. And I've had a chance to visit some other colleges and universities, and I can tell you their housing doesn't compare to what we have on this campus. And as a former student, you know, what comes to mind to me is Townhouse A and B and C and D. And it's so great that we're actually dedicating buildings now in people's name and in their honor. And I can tell you that anytime going forward that I'm here on campus and I hear somebody mention that they're heading over to the Livingston Alexander House, it's going to give me a smile for sure. So I want to thank Livingston, to congratulate him, and to say that I hope, Livingston, I hope you and Evelyn will come back and visit us often. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty, and also thank you for your support and your dedication to our campus. We very much appreciate that. As past president of the Student Government Association, Nathan Lawyer and our students worked over the years with Dr. Alexander on many important initiatives. I would like to ask Nathan to share his remarks and thoughts.
So I actually retired from student government, from president of student government 59 days, 16 hours, 33 minutes, and 45 seconds ago. But who's counting? And as a retiree, I wanted to share 2 things that I've learned about retirement with Dr. Alexander. And I actually see a couple of my predecessors in the audience, and I know that they'll agree with these as well. So first, it's a lot of fun. So after President Obama finished his last term as president, he kind of disappeared. No one really heard from him. People were kind of getting a little worried about him. And then out of nowhere, you saw all of these pictures of him on vacation, and he was smiling and happy. And honestly, that's the best way I can explain retirement. And my second thing that I've noticed is that no matter how hard I try, it's impossible to stay away from Pitt-Bradford. Because there's something about this place that always draws you back to this campus, back to Pitt-Bradford. In large part, that's because of the leadership that Dr. Alexander demonstrated over the years. He really fostered a community that was very collaborative in its problem-solving and learning experience. As student government president, oftentimes, as with any form of politics, people will always disagree with you. And we have students who, whenever they disagreed with me, they walked right into the president's office and let him know. And we wouldn't get that kind of attention really anywhere else. And the thing about Dr. Alexander is he never took sides, he always just encouraged us to solve our problems together and work together and really try to find a common ground. And really, when I was reflecting on my time here, and the first time I visited Pitt-Bradford was late April 2014. And at that time, Rice Hall was nowhere near as beautiful as it was today. It was still under construction. It looked to be about half done. Me and my mom were a little worried. There was mud everywhere. And a year ago, this building that we're going to be visiting in just a moment was a hole in the ground. And so I really think that Pitt-Bradford has changed even in that 4-year window. It's really incredible. So thank you, Dr. Alexander, for everything you've done, not only for me, but for all of the students. And in just a moment, you all will go ahead into Dr. Alexander House, Resident Hall. And you'll see a portrait that is a gift to the university from the Student Activities Council and the Student Government Association. We had this portrait painted by a painter from upstate New York, and I really hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
Nathan, thank you so much for your comments. So now at this time, I would like to invite Dr. Alexander to the podium to share his thoughts.
Good afternoon, everybody. I thank all of you for taking time out of your busy day, your busy week, your busy lives, to be here for the dedication of our newest residence hall. And I know some of you traveled a great distance to be here, and I want to tell you that I'm especially moved by your presence. To my colleagues and friends on the platform, I'm deeply grateful for your very warm, very gracious remarks. It has been my great privilege to have the opportunity to work with you and together to advance this beautiful campus that we're all enjoying today. So thank you very much, each and every one of you. Many of you met members of my family when they were here for an earlier celebration in March. As much here, just a number of duties and conflicts prevent them from being here, and extend their greetings to each and every one of you. They also join me in expressing sincere thank you and gratitude for this special honor that's being bestowed upon me. We are specifically thankful to University Provost and Senior Vice Chancellor, Dr. Patricia Beeson, Chancellor Pat Gallagher, who's unable to be here, the University Trustees, past Chairman of the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board, Craig Hartberg, and current Chairperson, Janine Schoenecker. Needless to say, I express my gratitude and my appreciation for people who are responsible for the construction of this very beautiful facility. And I'm going to ask the firms that I call to stand and be recognized. There are some on the platform, there are some in the audience. McLaughlin, Cornelius, and Filoni Architects. Thank you. P.J. Dick, General Contractor, and subcontractors from P.J. Dick. Thank you. And I always like to recognize our colleagues from the University of Pittsburgh who work with us on virtually every really all of the projects that we that we have here at the university, and especially I want to recognize and thank Kennard Grigsby, university architect, Dave Brown, project manager, and Owen Cooks, assistant vice chancellor for planning, design, and construction. Of course, with virtually every major construction project on our campus, there's a small group of Pitt-Bradford colleagues that follow the progress of construction from beginning to end, making sure that every single construction detail is in line with the original design and conception. So we're deeply grateful to Rikesh, who's unable to be here today, Pete Buchheit, who is Rhett Kennedy, and Greg Miller. So if Pete, Rhett, Greg, if you're around, just raise your hand, stand up wherever you are. Let's give a round of applause for all of them. I mentioned earlier that several of our guests traveled a great distance to be with us today, and I'd like to acknowledge and thank them. One of the top higher education leaders of our time, who has been a great inspiration for me throughout my time here at Pitt-Bradford, is Chancellor Emeritus Mark Nordenberg, and I'm so grateful, Mark, that you were able to be here, took the time to be here, so thank you very much. Please. And I ask others to please stand as I call your name. Senior Vice Chancellor Greg Scott and his wife Beth. Dr. Larry Fike, Pitt-Bradford's interim president-elect. Dr. Robert Pack, who played an integral role in many of our successes during his tenure as vice provost. And his wife, Jinx Walton, Chief Information Officer, who always comes to our aid whenever we need support. My fellow campus regional president and my friend, Dr. Jim Spector, president of Pitt Johnstown. The university's chief enrollment officer, Mark Harding. I think John and Marie Seltzer are here. They traveled from Pittsburgh. John and Marie, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know Fred and Beverly Gallup traveled from points uncertain, anywhere from Hilton Head to California to Ohio. Fred and Beverly, where are you? Thank you for being here. Our dear friends who traveled from Houston, Texas to be with us today, Jack and Martha Campbell. Jack and Martha, thank you for being here. Jack is also a member of the Pitt-Bradford Advisory Board. Dr. and Mrs. Carl Martray traveled here from Macon, Georgia, where Carl and Donna. I do want to say a word about Carl. When I came out of graduate school in 1977, say that. I didn't know anything about higher education, and my dear friend Carl Martray introduced me to academe, to the ways of academe, and to a 25-member psychology department. And that began a relationship in which we published together, we did papers together. And Carl, I'm so glad you were able to join us today, so thank you. Dr. Dolores Johnson is not only a very, very close friend, but really a family member. And Dolores, thank you so much for being here. Dr. Dolores Johnson. I often kid Dolores in saying that she is responsible as a retired OBGYN physician for probably a quarter of the population in New Jersey. So Dolores, thank you for being here as well. Our friends and supporters from who used to live here, now they live in Hersey, Pennsylvania, and we're welcoming back Larry and Carol Killian. So Larry, thank you very much for coming and joining us. And Carol, thank you for being here. And of course, it's kind of hard to say that he's trying to come here because Father Leo Galena used to be our pastor here, and now, so Father Galena, thank you for coming. I know he was recognized earlier, but I again want to recognize, acknowledge, and thank Marty Kauser, State Representative Marty Kauser, for all of his support. And I'm delighted that Commissioner Carol Duffy was able to join us today. Carol, thank you for coming. It was nearly 2 years ago that we mourned the loss of a dear friend of our campus. When Al Filoni passed away, working on 2 designs. One was the Maryland Horn Museum and Exhibit Center. The other was a residence hall that we're dedicating today. I suspect that it is hovering somewhere over this facility as we prepare to open it to students in August. The Al Filoni signature design is visible on all of the buildings that have been erected in the last 20 years. Please join silence in honor of the great designer, the architectural genius, Al Filoni. Thank you. I must say that I'm still having a hard time wrapping my arms around the notion that a building in the prestigious University of Pittsburgh system is being named in my honor. I was suspicious last fall when Craig Hartberg, Janine Schoenecker, Rick Esch, and Jill Dunn invited me to lunch to discuss what I thought then was a pretty mundane topic. Of course, as they began to explain what the meeting was really all about, I became speechless. They had met with Provost Beeson, who immediately declared support of their proposal to name our new resident. I was in shocking disbelief and really couldn't much focus on anything else that they were saying. What I was really thinking was that buildings aren't normally named after people who come where I come from and who face the kinds of struggles and hardships that I experienced. I grudgingly agreed to accept the honor with one concession that I would accept on behalf of everyone with whom I work to advance our Pitt-Bradford campus, namely the faculty, the staff, the advisory board, the alumni association, the students. I'm very mindful of the fact and acknowledge unconditionally that everything achieved during my tenure was achieved through the collective efforts of many. So as I stand here today, I envision future generations swarming our campus and taking their places in this beautiful facility, a place they will call home for at least 1 year. I imagine some of them seeing this strange name on the building and perhaps asking, who on earth is this guy with this funny name? Staff members may be driven to use lofty language to try to answer the questions that the students are asking about who this guy is. My hope is that they will not say such things as he was president when enrollments rise, or he was president when successful capital campaigns were completed, or he was president when the beautiful Wick Chapel was built, or the Maryland Horn Museum was constructed and built and opened to the public. I hope they will instead say that he was someone who came from an impoverished background in southern Louisiana, faced monumental challenges and hardships, made the most of the opportunities that came his way, and later became president of the campus. I hope they will say to future generations of students that he is someone who holds fast to the belief that all people are created equal in spite of everything that some in our society may try to do to refute this fact. I hope they will say to future generations that he is a man whose professed values and ideals include respect for the dignity of all human beings and equality of opportunity for all. I hope they will say that he is someone who demonstrates compassion and empathy by striving to put himself in the other person's shoes and imagining what it's like to be that other person. I hope they will say to future generations that he is someone who would want them to adhere to such standards of behavior as are contained in the Pitt Promise, embracing the concept of a civil community, pursuing knowledge and integrity with integrity and academic honesty, and supporting a culture of diversity by respecting the rights and humanity of those who differ in race, gender, nationality, sexual orientation, and identity, or religion. Our hope in building this residence hall is that it becomes a place that inspires students to pause and reflect on the new chapter in their lives, to discover their fundamental purpose in life, and to commit themselves to a life of learning and personal growth. Most importantly, this residence hall and all other facilities on our campus are intended to provide students with a wholesome environment to study, grow, and achieve their educational goals. In the end, our quest is to produce graduates who not only lead professionally fulfilling lives, but who are also morally and ethically aligned with the purpose beyond their immediate self-interest. I thank all of you very, very much for joining us today. I thank the University of Pittsburgh and my colleagues and friends for this wonderful honor. Thank you very much, and enjoy this beautiful facility.
Thank you, Livingston. Your unwavering leadership has been an inspiration to us all. Your legacy at Pitt-Bradford is one of growth, leadership, and student success. Your achievements have provided us a solid foundation for the challenges that we will face in the future. We are a better campus because of your leadership. You will be missed, but we wish you and Evelyn all the best in your future endeavors. So at this point in the program, we're going to move everyone on the platform, if you could please move over to the sign. We will unveil the sign, and then we'll follow with the ribbon cutting. And then please stay around to get a tour of this beautiful facility. And again, thank you all for coming.